So
do you want to start with the attachment that you divide on two types? And I think the type you are separating is by the packing method.
that's correct. That was my focus. That's a good deduction. That's correct. Is that an
Okay.
incorrect way of looking at it?
If you are just talking about a packing method, yes, it's like Mastr Pack and non-Mastr Pack. And for the non-Mastr Pack, it could be pallet or just like the box. It's non-pallet. So I think the main category could be Mastr Pack and non-Mastr Pack.
Okay, so we've identified those two here, Mastr Pack and non-Mastr Pack, correct?
Right.
And typically non-Mastr Pack is a pallet. Is that correct?
Not necessarily. It depends on how big is the shipment.
Okay.
Yeah, if this order we ship out is just like 1 or 2 blocks, we don't palletize it.
Right.
And there's no link to pallets in our system anywhere.
And I'm sorry, when you said, Kelly, there's no links, what does that mean, please?
Pallets are not tracked anywhere in our system. So
Got it. Okay.
It means
it's
that
just whether we choose to put them on pallets for shipping purposes.
Yep.
Yeah, so it kind of means that when we do the Mastr Pack, we will have a Mastr Pack box ID, and then we will have that ID in the system that links to the sales order. But in that Mastr Pack, when we palletize the shipment, there is no palletized ID or something like that. We just like put on the pallet and then wrap it and ship out. And the Mastr Pack box ID is very important when we send out the ASM, because in the ASM we have to tell which style or which inner box ID is in the Mastr Pack ID.
Is that correct? You provide them a report? Is that correct?
I think that information. Yeah.
You said the Mastr Pack ID is very important because you're using that to describe the contents of the Mastr Pack, correct? And then in the Mastr Pack on the inner boxes, one or more multiple SKUs, it's based on the sales order. So sometimes the customer will say pack only one item type or one style per inner box container, whereas other times they'll say go ahead and mix and match. Is that correct?
They're not dictating that.
Oh, so this based on sales order is not correct?
No, it's just whether or not the customer's dictating if it's one item, it has to go. I mean, it's based on the size of the order.
So customer just tell us if they need Mastr Pack or not. What's packed in the inner box? They don't dictate the inner box pack.
Because it's just think of it this way, Jim. If we're shipping, a lot of these are replenishment orders. If that store only needs one piece of one style, then that's all the order is going to be. But I would say that's rare. Usually they're going to say, okay, I need 10 items. I need 2 of this one of this. So that scenario is pretty rare that you would pack just one piece in a carton. It does happen,
no,
but
I don't. I didn't mean one piece. I didn't mean one piece. I meant one style. So you have one style. You might have 25, a quantity of 10 of one style, or is it typically in the inner box? You mix and match. You're mixing styles.
If it's going to stores, we're typically mixing styles. The only time we generally pack one style in a carton is with a big bulk order.
Got it.
So I think the minimum unit per box is that one sales order will have one box, and this sales order might have one or multiple style. So if that sales order has like much more quantity, more than the inner box can handle, then we will add another box or more box to pack this specific sales order.
Right.
But at least like one sales order per box.
Thank you. And then to your point right here that I've highlighted and bolded, let's just say that the customer buys, pick a number, 200 pieces, and you can put 20 in a box. Then you put the first 20 in box 1, you put the next 20 in box 2, the next 20 in box 3. Is that a correct understanding on my part? Is this the human being makes the decisions here?
So Jim, in that scenario, right?
Yeah.
You're assuming those 200 units are for the same sales order, but you're just splitting that sales order into multi-cartons. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
So in that scenario, those cartons will travel together and be master packed together because they're corresponding with the same sales order number and the same address shipped to.
Good enough. Now, there's other cases where you'll have multiple sales orders. Will the multiple sales orders go in the same master carton box?
That depends if they're all being shipped to the same distribution center. So there might be, these sales orders might be for different stores, but if those stores are all networked to receive products from the same DC, then we can master pack those items together.
Right.
And just so you know, Jim, not every carton in an order may get put in a master pack because we pick into the largest carton we can first before we determine if we split it into two. And if we use generally our largest carton, we wouldn't repack that one into a master pack. We would only pack the stores that have the smaller cartons in a master pack. That kind of makes sense?
Yes.
And the main philosophy for master packing is so once these cartons are in transit, they can all travel together. It decreases the likelihood that one of these boxes would get lost.
And it can sometimes minimize freight costs too, because you're shipping less packages. That it just depends on how that carrier calculates their freight charges.
Thank you. And then you may ship a large container separately, right? This is what you just said.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right. Sometimes a store will order multiple sales orders that go to one store. So you use a master pack that goes to a store, right? That's what this is saying. But typically it's for DCs.
I don't know we ever receive multiple orders for the same store on a customer PO.
Okay, then that doesn't happen. Okay, got it.
So from what I understand, what that question is asking is where do these Mastr Pack cartons are being shipped to?
Yep.
Most of the time they're shipping to a distribution center that is breaking apart these Mastr Pack cartons to figure out which cartons are going to which store. The distribution center will handle that downstream distribution on the customer side.
Right.
Now, there are very, very, very rare scenarios where everything in that Mastr Pack carton is going to the same store, going to the same address. But again, in that scenario, would only be if you have the same sales order being split into smaller cartons.
But why would you do that?
That's my following point. You wouldn't really go ahead and do that because you're
packing it. Why would you split it into multiple
exactly.
cartons?
You'll be packaging using our largest carton.
Right.
And if it's a larger carton, you're not going to Mastr Pack it.
Yep.
Right. And then, may I ask, back to a dumb question. The concept of the Mastr Pack itself, which is in this Excel spreadsheet in column I, J, K, and L, right? Here's your Mastr Packs. Is it the customer that wants all of these inner cartons in a larger carton versus generating a pallet shipment? Is that the reason? Or is it easier for iStar?
So Mastr Packing is driven by the customer's packing expectations. When we sign like a contract to become a distributor for a certain customer, they'll want their goods to be received in their warehouse or distribution center in a certain manner. Some prefer to have it palletized, some prefer to have it Mastr Packed.
Thank you. So that's one of the reasons you don't have the pallets in the ERP system, right? Because it's really customer driven. Helpful. Okay, let me just blow this sucker up.
Yeah, I mean, that applies, I think, to manufacturers and people shipping a lot of similar size items and larger items. We're shipping small jewelry pack.
Right. Got it. I get it. Okay. And EDI orders. Mastr Pack has nothing to do with EDI, single orders remote size. Okay, so got it. So that answers that question. That shows more of my ignorance, inexperience with the system. So thank you. But what happens is you have up front when you close Boscov's or something, they say, okay, we like Mastr Packing. It's not on the EDI. It's kind of like when you close the deal up front and then correct?
So the only area where Mastr Packing is tied in with electronic information is within the ASN, right? EDI essentially tells us this is what I want. Like I'm the customer, iStar. This is all the styles that I want. This is where I want you to ship each of these styles to, based upon what every single one of my stores are ordering. It does not dictate whether or not they want it Mastr Packed or not.
Right.
However, when we send the ASN, if we do Mastr Pack, from what I understand, there's various types of ASNs that are sent. And depending on if it's Mastr Packed, I think it was like 860 or something like that. Don't quote me on the ASN number.
But
856.
856.
856.
There is a type of ASN that correlates with the Mastr Packing. And the reason that level of information is needed is because if the customer receives this inventory, and we don't provide the master packing information within our ASN, they won't know which master pack carton will have each store's contents, right? The only way they'll be able to do that is to break apart every single carton.
So in other words, in this case, 1 of 4, 2 of 4, 3 of 4, if you have store XXX, you want to let them know it's in 3 of 4. Is that what you're saying?
Yep.
Right.
So it means that when user or when the picker decide which master pack that the picker put the sales order in the master pack box, then user supposed to tell the system which box master pack ID and also tell system which sales order is in the master pack ID, and then Acumatica need to have that information and generate the ASN after the shipment is complete.
Yep. So master packing in our current ecosystem is not driven by the ERP. It's a user-specified master carton sequence, and the user selects what items go into that master pack. I believe our system for RFGen at least is able to tell you if you have put in a sales order that is shipping to a different DC than what all the other cartons in that master pack carton is being shipped to. But what we need from Acumatica as a baseline is the ability for the end user to specify, I'm putting store 1, store 2, store 3's sales orders associated with these picking cartons into this master pack carton. And that is the master pack carton ID assigned to it.
But we don't want the system, we don't want to be trying to define that at the time we're creating the shipment. True?
Yeah, we want to have the user drive that, not the system driving it for the user.
So Jim, does it make sense to you so far?
Yeah.
So this will come to a question, because when EDI comes in from customer, there is a one part of the order showing all the item and quantity detail. Yep. And the other part of the EDI will shows you how they are going to distribute this purchase order. And our system generate internal sales order based on the distribution information. So which means like one store with one sales order, so it's easier to be handled in the system. But I'm not sure how this will be handled in Acumatica. Because right now in what Akim showed us, it's just like create a very simple sales order. But when EDI comes in, there are much more information that Acumatica has to digest. So for that part, I think you need to have have Akim look into that part.
Okay. Can you write that up for me right now, Payu? Would you do that for me?
I put that in the email as well.
Oh,
so
gotcha.
Yeah. So after Acumatica can handle that multiple ship to, maybe not the same way we did right now, but if you are going to achieve the same way with like each store with one sales order, then after Acumatica can handle that part, then everything else that we talk about right now can will make sense.
Got it. All right. So let me just bring up your email again. Here we go.
If I can kind of build off of what Payu was noting, when an EDI comes in, there's two parts to the EDI. There's the bulk, and then there's the distro. So the bulk will be, these are the SKUs, these are the quantity of each SKU that I want to place an order on. In the distro, it will be the list of locations, stores, what have you, that is ordering 20 units, 30 units, 40 units of each style.
Right.
So what our current system, our ERP does is merge all that together, generate a sales order for each store, and it'll dictate this store is ordering one piece of style A for 2 pieces. This store is ordering style C for 10 pieces, so on and so forth. And it's going to be a mixture of SKUs in each store.
Can I share screen a little bit?
Sure, of
Because
course.
I have an EDI. I'm not sure if that will be helpful.
Oh, can't hurt. Stop sharing.
So do you guys see my screen?
Yep.
So this is the EDI order comes in from Bosco. And in the EDI, it will show you the order style and the quantity. But there's additional information. It will show you like how many quantity goes to which destination.
Right.
Right. So in other words, there will be another part of information. It will show you, this style, this style, this quantity go to this store. So that's why our system break down the sales order, create sequences of the sales order by the ship to location. So in that ship to, you will see, there are this style, this quantity lumped together goes to this destination. So when we process the inner box, I think it will be easier for system to handle the whole process.
I'm just making some more notes here. Okay, got it.
Okay.
So yeah, that ties then, Kelly, to your whole concept of the inner packs, like Peyu just said, right? So store 1 needs 5 of these, 6 of these, 8 of these, 14 of these. You put it in a box. Store 2 needs this, this, and this. Oh, they got so many quantities. It's 2 boxes, right? In the end, all those boxes get added up, put into a big master box, sent to the DC in support of that EDI order. Is that correct?
I would say yes.
All right. Thank you. All right.
Yes, in the case where the customer expects us to master pack. If we don't have that need to master pack, it gets put on a pallet in multi boxes and it gets routed and shipped as is.
Right. And then they just they said, oh, we ordered 20 of these. They got a box that has 20 of them, and then they take it from there. Right.
Yeah, they'll handle the downstream distribution.
Right.
So that's why when Akim show us, do you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Sales order, shipment. Let me pick up any shipment. So for example, when Akim showed us, like he tried to assign different, because what he does is like assign the box ID to each style. So when we process the shipment, it looks like there are multiple box ID within this sales order. So it's kind of like totally opposite than what we can handle.
This meets the palletized version, correct?
Not really, because What Kim showed us is essentially saying one style goes into one box. Whereas our current sales orders are multi-line sales orders with different styles, different quantities in each sales order. So we can't really assign the cartonization just based on one item in that sales order. We have to take into account all the different styles that are being ordered on that sales order, how much pieces of each style, and what is the cubing or the expected volume that is going to be utilized for these pieces, and assign the appropriate size cartons.
For a store order, it's more appropriate to assume it will all go in one box.
And the human being makes that assumption, correct? Your system's not doing the volumetrics on a per container box.
Our system is doing the volumetric measurements, but the human is verifying if that calculation is correct and overriding those carton assignments if it's not big enough or if it's too big.
And are all the jewelry items of the same volume?
No, you have different packaging types. You have some carded items, you have some box items. So in our current ecosystem, they're set up according to what is called a dimension code. And Kelly, if you can speak a little bit more on this, because I know you have
the
more
packaging can be all different sizes.
And so you've got
because
10
it can be
packages are therefore 10 dimension codes.
It can be boxed product. It can be product in different types of boxes. So, the product can vary in size and weight. The individual styles can. And our system tries to cartonize by cubic inches. We don't use units or weight for cartonization purposes, and which I think is different than what you have in Acumatica. Because we put in the cubic inches for each item. And then it tries to then figure out based on that how many pieces of an order it can fit into one carton. And in most cases for store orders, all the jewelry will fit into one carton. It's just determining what size carton we're creating for that.
Fair enough. And similarly, you have the scenario where in some instances you will mix styles and style package sizes with other styles and style package sizes, and the cartonization logic will do that. Is that correct?
I would have to say 98% of our orders are in that setup where you have multiple styles in one sales order, each sales order style ordering a different amount.
And they're loose pieces. They're each loose pieces. They're not packaged in any way at that point. They're just each is maybe in a different type of bag or in a different type of card, but they're each an individual item, and they're just picking and putting all them in one box in a general case. They're not packaging them up in little bundles or anything. That is our typical store order.
Could you go back to that EDI order for a second, please, Payu? Could you check my phone, please? Oh, okay. And you were going to show me that EDI order? There you go. Thank you. So in this case here, with the destination by the quantities, right? How does the volumetrics logic work? I need 2 of 1, 1 of 1, 3 of 1. Does it say, oh, I can take the first 5 lines and put them into one carton, and then I'll take the next 5 lines and put them into a carton? Does it work that way?
So our cartonization isn't run based upon the EDI. Once the EDI is pulled into our ERP,
Yep.
the warehouse will receive like the picking tasks.
Yep.
Will run breakdown on generating the picking labels. During that step is where the system will run the volumetric calculations. It's not being done at the EDI stage.
Yeah. I just wanted to get the list. So thank you. So if where it says destination quantities 2 each, 1 each, 3 each, 2 each, etc., let's just assume that those are different styles. Fair enough? Does the cartonization say, yeah, I can put all of those different styles in one box, is the question? Or, oh, I need 3 boxes for all these styles? Because it adds up the volume of all of them.
They don't know or care at that point.
Pardon?
We don't know or care at that point. It's just getting the order into the system.
Yeah.
But it's what it's going to do is for each store, it's going to take and it's going to create a line for each item for each store.
Yes.
And then all those items will be linked to the same order, and our system will generally assume all the items linked to that one sales order will go in one box. We just haven't determined what size box it'll go into. That doesn't take place, as Jeff said, until later.
Right. And when that does take place, then the system knows that the first item is in a 1-inch box and the next one's in a 2-inch box and the next one's in a 3-inch box, and I can put some mixture of 1, 2, and 3 inches into a box to fill it up. Is that correct?
Yes.
Thank you. That was the question. Yeah, I was just using this as a basis for what the data was. Okay. Thank you. Now I understand. So I got to go follow up with some questions with Kim and the team on that. So this has been very helpful. Are there any other issues, Payu, on your list?
So for, I think the term consolidated and non-consolidated, that terms, consolidated is more like, it's not depends on the Mastr Pack or not, or it's not depends on other order type. It really depends on like if we want to pick the order by bulk pick or picks piece by piece. So that's a definition of the term. If we want to have a consolidated order, it means that we probably will have like 50 pieces in one big bag. Then we just like bulk pick this big bag and tells us all that 50 pieces already picked.
Got it.
And when we process as a non-consolidated order, it means that we have to make sure each pieces and each style has to be picked piece by piece. So it's really just a pick process definition.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Is that on that? I don't have your
in the email. Yeah, it's in the email. I explained
thank you.
As well.
Yeah, got it.
So do you think so far the information is sufficient enough for you to talk to your team?
Yes, I do. I think it's very helpful.
So when are you available? Yeah. So if is there any different process than what we talk about for Stanley?
I mean, I think it is a little different, but it's the same concept.
Wayne, if I can confirm my understanding of the Stanley process, you guys run Mastr Pack a little different. From what I understand, you pre-assign each carton, like each sales order, into its appropriate Mastr Pack container. Is that correct? And I understand that's because of the kind of standardized packaging types that you guys have in the various programs. Majority of your items are hinge box goods that are
I don't
approximately.
think that's the reason. I think it's that's just the way the ERP set up. Like we just don't do it as we go. It's calculated beforehand, and the predictability does factor in, but I don't think we could do it another way, even if we wanted to.
Because I think in Roman's setup, there is some flexibility inherent in the Mastr Packing process and the picking carton breakdown process. I know Stanley tends to do a lot of the initial setup beforehand. And I mean, both ways are correct. They all fulfill the same use case scenario. But I think there is some consideration to be put in on how defined we want the system processes to be ran, and if we still want to maintain that level of flexibility. I know one of the issues that Stanley kind of experiences is once you guys generate the UCC 128, that's it. Like you have to make sure all that inventory fits into one carton. The only way you can back it up and split it into two is if you generate two UCC 128 cartons. I know that logic is a little bit different than what Roman does because we can split sales orders into multi-cartons before the 128 label is generated. So some things for
Right.
our internal team to keep in mind and communicate.
Okay, Peggy, what was the question?
But I think as long as the Acumatica can handle the Sunstone process, the main structure of the process is similar to Stanley, and then the only difference that we just need to be able to manually process the shipment ahead of time instead of really goes into the production line. So as long as I think Acumatica can handle the scanning pick and prepare all the shipment and complete the shipment ahead of time. So I think Acumatica is already be ready to handle both of complete the shipment ahead of time or later. Just need to make sure the whole process can match the whole EDI flow and the pick pack ship flow. I'm not sure if I explained this. I'm not sure if this makes sense to you guys.
Yeah, we'll probably just need to work with Jim's team to make sure that we're on the same page there then.
Yeah.
But it sounds like it should be. I mean, I think they understand it to a degree, so maybe it's just clarifying.
Yeah, and then just this is a related question, and really looking for your advice here. So we've got, from a testing standpoint, we've talked about doing the warehouse testing in test tenant 3 that I've just highlighted, because that's the one that can accept the EDI orders. One of the license restrictions with the True Commerce EDI is it only attaches to one tenant. Now, footnote, to move it from one tenant to another tenant takes all of 5 minutes. So from a testing standpoint, if we wanted to have a tenant for warehousing, but it needed to get some data into it, we could always take EDI, point it to that tenant, load it with a bunch of data, and then point it to another tenant for testing regarding EDI itself. So there's different options that we have. But do we have the question is really, how do we simulate orders via EDI to do these tests for these master packs and non-master pack orders, the ones that simulate the kind of standard orders, Kelly, that you were talking about? Do we have those? You know, as an example, we worked on the Kohl's.com thing, and we figured out what a representative order was, and Michael and Kathleen worked together and came up with an Excel spreadsheet template that simulated the download from, in this case, the Disco system to populate Acumatica. When we do the testing here, will we have fake EDI orders? Will we have real EDI orders that are simulated? What's the best approach? And should PayU, can you work with Jeff and Wayne and Kelly to get representative orders so that, like the one you just showed me, right, you got 20 items on there and there's quantities of each and et cetera, and pick a representative couple of customers, one that wants it palletized and one that wants it master packed. How should we go about that?
Would it be possible for us to have Thomas or Michael duplicate previous EDIs on these various order types? Bring it into Acumatica, and then we can run the testing that way?
Yeah, I think so. Let me, you can still see my screen, right?
Jim, so why we cannot do it in test 3? Because I think
we can do it in any test. That's not really the issue. The issue is how do we get the data? That's really the issue.
Yeah, so EDI we have EDI data in test 3, we have style data in test 3. So it's easier to do that in test 3. And one of the key things that we need to verify is when EDI comes in, how will Acumatica handle the EDI information to, like what we said, like break down the ship to each sales order. I think that's a key part of the test as well.
Right. So I think the first thing is that a typical purchase order or sales order that comes in through EDI, is it like typical 20 ship to or 1 ship to for 20 stores and 50 styles? Is that like representative? That's what I'm looking for here. Right? So Jeff and Kelly, can you give PayU, 2 or 3 representative order types and what characterizes them? Then PayU, we got to go make sure that we have the representative EDI orders input. Right? Right now, we have tested in the EDI that we can receive an 820 it might have 10 lines in it, but maybe we need 50 lines to have a representative order so that we can validate master packing. So I'm not sure that the orders that we have tested to essentially test the transmission of EDI into Acumatica, the focus wasn't to go all the way downstream to the warehouse. So that's what we need now. So can you guys give us what representative EDI orders in terms of the number of ship tos, whether they're palletized or not, how many styles, if they're master packs or going to a DC, how many stores there are?
Well, I don't know how we can simulate that totally, what we get today, because these orders are humongous. I mean, a order for Target,
yeah,
overall the orders is going to be 1,800 stores and could be 50,000 lines of data.
Okay, so then we
got to pick a portion. We can't really. I don't see how we could simulate an entire EDI order in a lot of cases. We could simulate some simple .coms, and we could probably simulate a Walmart bulk order, but all of these would probably need to be cut back. They don't need to be 100 styles or anything to be able to simulate what we want to do. But on a multi-store order, we have to have a master PO that has at least, 5 or 10 stores on it.
That's literally what I'm asking.
And maybe it's only 4 or 5 items each order, but to test the master packing, we just need to have the combination of a customer PO with multiple stores attached to it.
Thank you. So Payu, would you please generate the criteria of those representative orders? Fair enough. Can you take that responsibility, Payu?
Yeah, I think, can you write me an email with more detail? Because when you just the criteria, I'm not sure what you're looking for.
I will do that. Okay, it's kind of what Kelly just said. Well, we can't do the full thing, but we can do so. Okay, so I will do that.
Yeah, if we can I don't know if there's a way that Thomas can save like a part of an EDI or something.
Well, that's where I'm going.
Get some data in, but then we also have to have the corresponding items have to be set up, and that's going to be the next challenge. Because everything we had in our database was that's old data. So I don't know how many of the current items we are getting EDI for are going to match to what items are currently set up in Acumatica.
So there's 2 ways to get data on these representative orders into Acumatica. One way is you literally have this there's a process where you provide information to True Commerce, your EDI vendor, and they manually upload it into their Foundry, and then that Foundry uploads it into Acumatica. That's way number 1. Way number 2 is you take this information, like 20 items, a few stores, 1 customer, simulating a large bulk order. Maybe it's 20%, 10% of the actual volumes for Target, right? And you put that into an Excel template. And then the Excel template gets uploaded into Acumatica. In both cases, you have an order that is representative of an EDI order that we can then start testing the warehousing software with. So in this case, you got to use Thomas and Ted and whatnot, and then they work with the True Commerce folks to take this representative EDI order, input it into the Foundry, so it shows up in Acumatica. In this case, we take a template like we did for Kohl's.com and we populate the template and it goes into Acumatica. So we should make a decision what the most efficient way of getting representative orders are into Acumatica. And those are our two options. There's a third option, a human being types data into Acumatica.
No,
but that's
but
not good.
Like the EDI I showed you is for Boskov.
Yeah.
That is one of the order that we already have a true comps load. So the method one is already almost done, right?
Yeah, perfect. I'm not saying one's better than the other. I'm just letting the team know these are our options. So
yeah,
if we have the ones for Boskov already done and they meet these order types. So we have one that's like a large order for Boskov. And then we have another one for any representative company, but it's representative of a Walmart bulk order. That's goodness, because then we can test warehouse operations. That's really what we're getting to, right?
Yeah, I think Ted has Walmart order as well.
Good.
Yeah,
all right.
So that's why I'm saying it's I think it's faster to do it in test 3 right now because I think orders are ready in test 3.
Right. Now, does test 3 have enough item data in it?
Yeah, because we upload styles in test 3.
Good. All right. Then I think test 3. So as long as we're correct about we having representative EDI orders that the True Commerce folks can take and flow through the foundry, that's a great way of doing it. All right. So let's make that our number one way of doing it.
Okay.
And if it works, great. If it doesn't, we have an option to go the Excel template route like we did for Kohl's.com.
Sure.
Fair enough?
Yes.
And again, not saying one's better than the other. Okay. And then we've confirmed that we have the items. So I'm going to write you a little email about what we need for those order types. Okay?
Okay.
All right. All right. Any other things to discuss then? Nope. Then thank you. It's been a very good hour. Appreciate the time.
Great.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kelly. Thank you, Jeff, for your time. Appreciate it. I know you're busy as heck, so we got to schedule you, so we'll work on that. And we're going to start knocking off this warehouse. Good stuff. All right. And then, Wayne, I know you're on the line. Did you want to schedule a meeting for us to talk tomorrow or something like that?
Yeah, tomorrow works.
What's a
Anytime.
good time? Let me just take my schedule out. I followed up on your emails to me today. Thank you for, so I can do it. Today's Tuesday. We've got a little bit on barcodes and label files tomorrow at 7:30. I can do it at 9:30 a.m. your time if you want. Start early.
Yeah, up to you. Like I'm free. Let me just give you one I can't do.
Yeah, is 9:30 good for you, or do you want to do it? If not, then it'd be like about noon your time, or actually 1 o'clock
noon
your
might
time.
Be a little, noon would be fine.
How about 1 o'clock your time?
Okay.
Oh no, noon your. I'll make it 12:30 your time. That's what it is.
Either one. That range is good.
Yeah, great. Okay.
Perfect.
Thank you so much then. All right, take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Hey, you. Good meeting.